Hello, how are you
Hello,
doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
So let's get right into it. Let's start off with an introduction.
Yes, I am Coach Jaki, a professional life coach, speaker, and author.
Nice, that's quite a few hats you're wearing. Um, what is it exactly that a life coach does?
Um, Basically, a professional life coach uses specific tools or skills such as conversation, observation, and in some cases, assessment tools to help their clients transform their lives.
When you say transform their lives, what do you mean? How drastic is this transformation? And a transformation from what to what?
Well, the thing is that a transformation basically just means indeed a significant change from one state to another. So the way coaching works is that the coach uses questioning, observation, and direct communication, amongst other skills, to provoke introspection in the client. This introspection leads to enhanced self-awareness, and that in turn generates different thinking, different actions, new habits that combine to produce sustained changes in the client's life. And that's why I'm talking about transformed lives.
Okay, that's very interesting. And is there a one size fits all, or are there different types of coaches?
That's a good question. Maybe I should start by saying that there are certain ways in which all coaches are the same and other ways in which they are not. So all professional coaches are the same in the sense that they have been trained in the art and science of coaching. That means that they are very skillful in asking the types of questions that will provoke introspection. As I have already mentioned, they observe, they listen, they communicate, they empathize, and they create safe spaces for their clients in a skillful manner. However, individual coaches differ in their style and approach to coaching. For instance, there are coaches who focus on using a spiritual approach to coaching. There are coaches who have specialized in physiological methods. Coaches decide the kinds of clients that they want to focus on. So you might have a coach who wants to focus on working with women who are looking to get back into employment after a long period away. You could have a coach who focuses on working with leaders in technology. Coaches also differ in the issues that they choose to focus on. So there are coaches who may want to focus on transition issues or perhaps communication issues. In some cases, it could be a question of self-confidence or related matters. So coaches are not the same, and there is certainly not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Okay, that's very good to know. So, what would you say your approach to coaching is, and who or what do you like to focus on?
My coaching approach draws from intentional change theory. Intentional change theory, very simply put, states that if a person sets an intention, something they want to achieve at some point in the future, then all their resources, mental, physiological, physical, emotional, are put on alert, so to speak, to help this person achieve that intention. So I take a vision-based approach to coaching. This means that I help my clients, first of all, to clarify or articulate the future that they aspire to, or to articulate a vision. And then I help them to look at their current situation, to assess what they need to do in order to achieve that vision. I help them to brainstorm options and to make choices and to prioritize actions and tasks. And then I also support them in implementing those actions, reviewing them, and learning from them, so that eventually they begin to develop new habits that support enduring change.
Okay. Okay. How long would you say this process takes?
There is no specific duration that I could really talk of, because clients are different. Clients come to a coach when they are at different stages of dealing with whatever issue it is that has brought them to coaching. So some coaches might just be wanting support to make the decision about the choices that they have already identified and then to go on and implement. Some people really start from even just identifying that they are not where they want to be, and then articulating where they would like to be or to go before we then go through the other stages that I have explained. So that process could take anything from 2 or 3 coaching sessions to 12 or more coaching sessions.
Okay. How would one know that they need coaching as opposed to, say, therapy or some other form of psychological help?
That's I think that's like 2 questions in one. So let me just start off by perhaps speaking about some of the differences between coaching and other helping professions. So coaching is a partnership, and in coaching, the coach makes the assumption that the client is capable of finding their own solutions with the coach's support. Coaching is also future focused, so looking at the present, working with the present in order to create a path towards the future that the client desires. Therapy or psychologists support clients usually to overcome something from the past that is getting in the way of their living in the present. In some instances, therapy also involves medication. And so therapy and psychological support are often seen as medical models, where the psychologist or the therapist is an expert who is helping the client overcome something. So they are not partners in the sense that the client is helpless in the situation or in overcoming the situation that they face. So for coaches, so people come to coaches or people look for a coach for various reasons or under different circumstances. So a person might be feeling restless and not really able to put a finger on why they're not feeling settled. They might be feeling stuck, just feel like their life is not going anywhere. They might be facing a major life decision or a major life event. So for example, I work with students who are preparing to take transition exams, moving from one stage of education to another. So that is a major life event or an important transition. Sometimes clients look for support from a coach because they want to develop new habits. They want to make changes in their lives. For example, people who want to move from being employed to running their own business may seek to work with a coach so that the coach helps them to use the strengths and the qualities that they already have, but which they may not be employing in their current situation. Sometimes a person will need a coach because they need a cheerleader. You know, they feel that they want affirmation and support to implement choices that they have already made. So there are many situations that could lead somebody to wanting to work with a coach.
Okay, seems like you're quite a useful person because all these people may need your help.
Yes.
So after they reach out and after you go through the process of, putting together a vision of where they want to be or how they want to work towards whatever it is, how do you and how do they know that the coaching has been successful?
That's a very important question because it's an important part of the whole process of coaching. So my clients report discovering strengths that they didn't know they had before, becoming more assertive, developing confidence, developing new skills, becoming more aware of themselves and what they want, achieving specific goals, improving decision making, improving communication skills, and many more things. So these are just examples of the outcomes of coaching. And of course, the outcomes depend on the specific goals of the coaching intervention.
That sounds wonderful. Do you usually have checkpoints? Do you say that, okay, so let's sit back and review how far we've come after a certain number of sessions? Or is it for the client to come to you at whatever point to say that, actually, I think I don't need you anymore or whatever?
First of all, the coaching process is not linear. While I have described that I like to work with clients by starting with articulation of a vision and then working on how that vision can be achieved, it doesn't necessarily mean that you start with you go in a linear process. Often it is cyclical. As the conversation unfolds, things come up and the client then decides whether they want to deal with them at that point or not. But overall, by the time the process is finished, usually the client will have undertaken all the steps. So the issue of checkpoint or reviewing is really just a part of the whole process. During a session, the coach may stop and ask the client how they feel, whether they consider that they are making progress. It could be after a number of sessions. The client is always welcome to point out to the coach if they feel that they are not making progress, or if they feel that they are making progress. Usually, as at the start of the coaching relationship, the coach and the client will agree on a number of sessions, on how many sessions they want to, they contract a certain number of sessions. And usually the coaching intervention or the coaching relationship will come to an end after these sessions are completed, unless the client wants to extend them. In some instances, the relationship could also end before those sessions are, completed, because the client feels that they have achieved whatever it is that they want to achieve. So reviewing the process and how the client feels that they are progressing is an important part of the coaching process.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. This has been a very interesting and informative conversation.
Thank you very much for taking the time to discover coaching with me, Coach Jaki.